Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my long overdue August wrap up. So, August was quite the reading month. I had a lot of good reads in August, and the whole beginning of August was kind of like my vacation time. So, I got a lot of productive reading done during that time. It's just taken me so long to get this video out because I've been very busy with with editing, contract writing, reading excerpts as like a judge for a competition. I've been super busy doing all that stuff, so I'm finally sitting down and doing this video. So here we go. I read a decent amount of books in August, over five, which is pretty big for me. But anyways, I'm gonna chat with you about them now and share my thoughts. And I say like over five, but some of these are graphic novels, so like really not a huge accomplishment. But anyways, so the first one on that note that I'll talk about is Superman, and this is Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. So this is just a very small graphic novel, like actually quite small for graphic novels. And I liked this one. I probably would give it like a 3 to 4 rating. It's like the old style of comics. So like if you look in here, it's like definitely like the old original comic style, not the newer like graphic styles. So yeah, it was kind of like a trip back in time, and it has a couple of different versions of Superman in here. So it has Action Comics number 583 and Superman 423 and DC Comic Presents number 85. So it's like it's kind of jumping around a bit, and it's different issues regarding Superman and times that he kind of like went off and disappeared for a while, and people were wondering where he went. And so it was kind of like, let's go find him, help him, bring him back, kind of thing. So that's what this was. There was also an additional bonus one at the end that involved the Swamp Thing, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Just because I haven't read too much about the Swamp Thing, but it was just like interesting to see him and Superman like meet in a comic. I think in this instance, Superman had something kind of going on where he was like wild or like crazed or something, like some sort of virus or bug was affecting Superman, and Swamp Thing was kind of like helping him. So it was definitely an interesting dynamic there. But yeah, I enjoyed this one and it was a quick read. Also on the graphic novel list, it's not really like a graphic novel, it's more just like an illustrated telling of the life of a cat, but it's called My Cat Hates Me. This one's by Brown Books, and it was quite hilarious, honestly. So it's written from the perspective of the cat owner, and he drew out all these illustrations and then adds like captions to them to kind of show like what his cat is thinking and how his cat perceives himself as a cat and how his cat perceives him as his owner. So like, yeah, it's kind of hilarious. This cat definitely perceives himself as like the king of the household, and his owner will like do his bidding, and it's just very entertaining. And there's also some bonus chapters in here that like really pull at your heartstrings, involving this cat before he was taken in by the owner and he was like a stray on the streets. So yeah, it's very like, it's a fun book to read through. I believe there's another version of this now too, but this is the first one, and it's a lot of fun. I'll just show you like some of the illustrations. So like, there's also a dog in the family, and the cat has certain feelings towards the dog. But yeah, it's like different little captions, and yeah, I believe this is also a translated work as well. So yeah, it was a fun time. I really enjoyed this one, and yeah, I think if you're a cat lover, you would like this too. Then another one that I read throughout the month was Geektastic, and so this is stories from the Nerd Herd. This is a whole bunch of different authors that came together to create this anthology, and it's all short stories in regards to like nerds or like that kind of thing. So like being a geek, being a nerd, just like how that plays out in different scenarios. And yeah, there were some that I really enjoyed in this book, and then there were some that I did not really like so much. There were also some that like I didn't really agree with the intention of like what the moral of the story was. I didn't really think that it was vibing too well. So yeah, I wouldn't say like I enjoyed all of the books in this one, but overall as like a whole anthology, I'd probably give it like a 3.5. It would sit around there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like I definitely related to a lot of the geekiness and the geeky characters because like I also was pretty geeky in high school. I mean, I'm still geeky now. I don't. It's not just high school, but here I am talking about books on the internet. But yeah, no, it was really fun to see some of like these authors' older works from like when they were just starting out. Like for example, John Green's in here, Cassandra Clare, Libba Bray, David Levithan. Like I've read these authors. So to like, well, actually I haven't read Cassandra Clare or Libba Bray, but I've read John Green and I've read David Levithan. So to like see their earlier works was very interesting, and then to experience some of these other authors that I have never experienced before was a lot of fun. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this one. Then, as a little treat to myself, on the week that I was on holidays, I read Dead Lake by Darcy Coates. This is actually also a short story anthology. I didn't realize that. I thought this was just one novel about a girl who goes out to like a lake house to get away from like everything else and just explore her art because she's an artist. I thought it was just that, but apparently there's like 4 other short stories after that. That's only like the first 120 pages. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and that was like a little happy surprise, and I got more stories out of it, which was great. So I would say like the main story of this is the one I enjoyed the most, but I did like the other ones. One of them actually, I think it was called Mannequin. It was so creepy. Okay, sorry. Before I go to that, the main story about the woman who goes to the cabin, she is like exploring her art at the cabin, kind of getting away from everything, when she starts seeing this man that just starts showing up from like across the lake. And then next thing she knows, this man is out on the dock, which is like right in front of the property. And so it's very like scary to her because she's alone out here and it's a very remote place. And so she starts kind of like getting paranoid of like seeing this man places, not knowing if he's real or not, because like she'll see him and then she'll go and then look back and he's gone. So like, yeah, just the paranoia of the story was like really getting to me and giving me like all the creepy vibes, which I really liked. And I did enjoy how it ended as well. Like I won't go into that, but I did think that it was a pretty good ending. But there was one in here, I think it was called Mannequin, and it was about this guy who like moves into this basement apartment, and there's a mannequin in this apartment that's just like in the corner. But like whenever he shuts the lights off and then turns them back on, like the mannequin has moved or is in like different positions. And it really reminded me of like the movie Lights Out. If you've ever seen that one, it definitely gave me vibes of like the same thing. Yeah, that one was really creepy. I would not, first of all, want to be in a windowless basement apartment because that would freak me out just without having any like view of the outside world. But yeah, just that book or that short story in general was very creepy. So yeah, I was happy to read this. I would definitely give this probably like a 4 out of 5 stars. I really like Darcy's writing style and just enjoy her like creative mind. She comes up with some really interesting things, and so it's like always fun to read along and just like explore those. So yeah, I really liked this one. Then the next 2 were sent to me by authors. So the first one is Resilience by Jan Jongstra, and this one is following a character, what's his name? I always forget their names. The main character, I think, is Carl. Yes. So this main character, Carl, is wanting to pursue his career of music. He's very into music and composing, and so he wants to pursue that. And so this is also during the time of like World War II, and he lives in Poland. So in order to explore this, he decides that he's going to move with his mother over to Paris to try and get in at the conservatory there and explore this career. Now, he has to leave his brother behind. Well, he doesn't have to leave his brother behind, but his brother does not want to go to Paris, so his brother stays back in Poland. His father actually dies of like a brutal bear attack when he's young, and so that had like a big impact on him and his mother in regards to like leaving. And so they go to Paris. He's trying to get his foot in the door to like study music and go from there, and then it just kind of like details his journey as he goes from there to different places. Eventually he goes over to New York, and then up to Canada. So like there's a lot of journeying involved and a lot of like seeing him go through that journey, but also during the time of the war. So being like from Poland going through all of this was definitely intense because of the political restrictions around the world. It was definitely an interesting read. There's even a part of it where he joins up and like goes and fights in the war. And so that was interesting too, because in that part, he's like working on a merchant ship. And so he's like kind of like a part of the Navy, but like they're the ones just like bringing resources to people that are fighting in the war. I found that like pretty cool too and interesting to read about. So yeah, this is definitely something like if you're interested in watching somebody go through a lot of adversity and trials within their life in pursuit of like their dream, then this is probably something that you would enjoy. I'm going to give this book like a 3.5. It's pretty good for me. Like I think a 3.5 is pretty good considering it's historical fiction, and historical fiction is not my favorite genre, but this one actually was pretty decent. So yeah, I'll stick it around a 3.5. And then the last book on my list is a short novella called Across the Universe, Not Really a Beatles Story. And as you can see, the Beatles on the front cover here have all like quite wonky faces. This one was interesting. It's kind of like a multiverse story. So this main character, he's a very grumpy character. What is his name? Edmund. Edmund was a very grumpy character, and he kind of like falls into a parallel like universe, and things just start happening from there. He like meets characters along the way that kind of form like this ragtag group to like help him get back to his original universe, because he keeps falling within like rifts of multiverses and goes from one to the other. And so this group is like trying to help him get back to his specific one. And each chapter, the headings are all Beatles songs. So I thought that was interesting. Edmund also has an affinity for the Beatles. He really likes their music, and it like is evident throughout the book. But the whole like big part of the book is more about like skipping through the multiverses and trying to like get back home rather than actually the Beatles. But it was interesting to see like the different places he went, because they were all very different from each other. And some of them were like he's just thrown into very dire circumstances, and then other ones he's thrown into a situation where like they have to travel on to explore to find like the next, I guess what it's called, like rift. But yeah, no, it was definitely interesting. I think for this I would have liked if it was bigger, because there was a lot that could have been done here, but just because it's in a novella size, you didn't really get that much. And also I feel like we had more opportunity for growth with these characters, but we didn't get that because of the size of the book. I think if there was more to it, we would have had that opportunity to develop out those characters and get that attachment to them more. Because like the main character is a big grump. So like you don't really feel attached to him right off the bat. I think with more time you would. But yeah, I believe I gave this one, I think, a 4-star. It was either 3.5 or 4-star. It's around there. But yeah, it was a fun time like exploring those different multiverses. I actually have another novella by Robbie Sheeran down there. I can't see where it's called, but that one was a collection of sci-fi stories as well. And I remember really liking that one. I think I gave that one a 4 stars as well. So yeah, I definitely like Robbie Sheeran's writing, and I hope he keeps doing it. And those are all the books that I read in the month of August. I think I did pretty decent. And now I'm into September and trying to get through my Magical Readathon TBR. I still haven't completed a book for it yet, so I got to get working on that. I'm probably about 2/3 the way through the one I am reading though, so I feel like I'll at least complete one soon and jump on to the next one. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite book that you read in August was. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as a link to buy my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I try and post my videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't always stick to that schedule though, because I've been very busy lately, but those are my planned days. So Yeah. And until next time, keep on reading.